Three friends, brought together by chance, found themselves in the stillness of the night, bound by desperation. A casual conversation outside a modest home quickly turned darker as their need for money clouded their judgment. With tension in the air, they made a fateful decision to hunt for unsuspecting victims and claim what wasn't theirs. What began as a quiet night would soon spiral into an act of desperation and danger. Melanie Uribe, a 31-year-old single mother and dedicated nurse, was driving to Pacoima Hospital in Burbank, California, for her night shift. As she approached the junction at Foothill Boulevard, the traffic light turned red and she stopped her vehicle. In the blink of an eye, chaos erupted. Morgan, Willis, and Spencer stormed her car with chilling precision. In seconds, they overpowered Melanie, seized control of the vehicle, and sped off into the night, leaving nothing but terror in their wake. What had started as a desperate hunt now spiraled into an unthinkable act. A lone witness to the harrowing scene wasted no time. His trembling hands dialed the police, recounting every chilling detail. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Melanie's colleague grew uneasy. Known for her unwavering punctuality, Melanie's absence stretched into hours. Panic set in. Fearing the worst, the colleague made her own urgent call to the authorities, reporting Melanie missing and setting the wheels of a desperate search into motion. In the early hours of December 16, 1980, as the search for Melanie Uribe continued, a chilling call came through. A car had been spotted engulfed in flames near a school. The quiet night erupted into urgency as both the police and fire department swiftly dispatched teams to the scene, the ominous glow of the fire hinting at a grim discovery waiting in the shadows. Investigating the charred remains of the burnt vehicle, ash and soot revealed no answers, no fingerprints, no fibers, nothing. It was as if the fire had consumed every trace of the truth. And now, the police, they had one thread to follow from the first witness. His description of how the vehicle sped off that fateful night, with Melanie inside, screaming, was now their only hope in unraveling the grim mystery. The police launched a massive manhunt immediately that night, stretching throughout the day, for Melanie Uribe and her abductors, deploying every resource at their disposal. Patrol cars swept through neighborhoods, helicopters thundered across the skies, and officers meticulously searched the rugged terrain. Desperation hung heavy as authorities turned to the media, urging the public to come forward with any information that could break the silence and bring answers to the growing mystery. On December 17, a seemingly ordinary day turned extraordinary for 32-year-old Etta Smith, a shipping clerk at an aerospace company. While listening to the radio, news of Melanie Uribe's mysterious disappearance filled the airwaves. Suddenly, an unexplainable surge of energy coursed through Etta's body, and her mind was flooded with vivid visions. She saw fragmented images, as though someone was desperately reaching out to her, showing her the way. With every passing moment, the visions grew stronger, her mind drained by the intensity of the energy. It was as a force beyond her control was pulling her toward a place she had never been, yet felt deeply connected to. It was a calling she couldn't ignore. Etta Smith had never felt such a powerful and unshakable calling before. Consumed by vivid visions that pointed her to Lopez Canyon, she left work early, rushed home, gathered her family, and set off without hesitation. The urgency was undeniable. Her vision had given her no choice but to follow its lead. As Etta moved closer to the relentless pull of the calling, her visions grew sharper, vivid, and haunting. The strange energy coursing through her became almost unbearable, intensifying with every step. A foreboding sense gripped her. She knew the horror was near. The air grew thick, heavy with the stench of decay. Then she saw it. Melanie Uribe's nude body lay before her, badly decomposed, her head grotesquely smashed. The reality was far worse than anything her visions had shown. Eager to return to the police headquarters, Etta Smith crossed paths with a patrolling officer. Desperate, she told him she had found the missing nurse. The officer quickly called for backup, and the body was soon recovered. But Etta's relief was short-lived. She was brought back to the station, where the questioning began. She told the chief officer investigating Melanie Uribe's case everything she knew. But instead of gratitude, Etta was met with suspicion. The officers relentlessly pressed her. How did she know about the body? How did she know the cause of death? Etta, visibly shaken, revealed her long-hidden truth. Since childhood, she had been plagued by visions of events yet to happen or already past. Her mother had warned her to keep it a secret, and no one but her mother knew of her gift. She explained how hearing the news about Melanie on the radio triggered an unexplainable energy coursing through her body, as though Melanie herself was calling out to her. It was this calling that led her to the body, but the officers dismissed her claims. They didn't believe her story and instead charged Etta with Melanie Uribe's murder. Locked behind bars, Etta realized the gravity of her situation. She had walked straight into a nightmare, her gift now seen as a curse. While gathering evidence to solidify their case against Etta Smith, the police received an unexpected call. In an instant, the entire investigation took a shocking twist, unraveling everything they thought they knew. A woman's voice, tense and secretive, claimed she knew the men behind Melanie Uribe's murder and even where the weapon was hidden. Before she could reveal more, she abruptly hung up. She didn't give her name or arrange a meeting, leaving the officers stunned and puzzled. 2 days later, another call came in, this time a man's voice. He confidently stated he knew the killers and was willing to help identify them. The caller requested a meeting with the police, promising to reveal at least one of the culprits. The case had taken a dramatic and mysterious turn, leaving the investigators scrambling for answers. The autopsy report was devastating. Melanie Uribe had been brutally beaten, raped multiple times, and her head had been smashed repeatedly with a rock. As the gruesome details unfolded, a grim silence filled the room. It was then that the chief began to question everything. Etta Smith's hauntingly accurate visions couldn't be dismissed. For the first time, James found himself believing that Etta Smith might truly be a psychic. The second caller finally met with the chief officer and pointed out the culprit, 20-year-old Morgan. With a trembling voice, he revealed how Morgan had boasted about kidnapping, robbing, and raping Melanie Uribe, ending her life with a rock. The chilling confession didn't stop there. Morgan had reportedly shared the gruesome details with another friend, a girl. As the pieces fell into place, the officer realized this girl might have been the mysterious first caller. Tracking her down, the police made an unexpected visit to her home. Cornered, she confessed to being the first caller and made a bold offer. She was willing to hand over the murder weapon, but only if her identity remained a secret. The police chief agreed. The girl disappeared briefly, returning with a cloth sling bag that sagged under its weight. She handed it over, and the chief carefully opened the bag, revealing the gruesome truth: a blood-stained rock, the key to unraveling the crime. The DNA from the bloodstain was a match. It belonged to Melanie Uribe. With the evidence solidly in place, the police wasted no time. They arrested their first suspect, 20-year-old Louis Morgan. His capture unraveled the rest of the puzzle, leading to the arrests of his accomplices, 21-year-old Spencer Nelson and 17-year-old Norman Willis. Etta Smith was finally released, the weight of suspicion lifted from her shoulders. In a tense courtroom, the three men gave chilling confessions. What began as a robbery spiraled into the abduction of Melanie Uribe, her car, and the eventual horror of her brutal assault. Each of the monsters took turns to rape Melanie before driving her to the canyons to silence her forever. While Morgan and Willis hesitated at the thought of killing her, Spencer showed no mercy, repeatedly smashing her head with a rock. The court, horrified by the accounts, found all three guilty and sentenced them to life imprisonment. Meanwhile, Etta Smith, humiliated and traumatized by her wrongful arrest, sued the police for false imprisonment and was awarded $27,000 in damages, a small triumph amidst the tragedy.